This video is meant to be an explanation for the source code of my GitHub repository project I attached on the description below. The project has two major objectives. The first one is about how to use Selenium and beautiful Soup 4 for scraping and extracting data from Traveloka. For you who don't know what Traveloka is, it's a multi-purpose website for tourists and travel, where you can buy tickets for hotels, transportations, entertainment, and more. And the second objective is to visualize the data using Tableau. Well, for this project, I'm gonna scrape the hotel data only for a certain region in Indonesia called Medan. And I'm gonna scrape data from today to 30 days ahead and present it in time series graph. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so in working on this project, I'm gonna use Jupyter Lab, but before that, we need to install the virtual environment to isolate this current project from the others. So any kind of site libraries that we installed will not gonna affect the other. So first we need to type python-m white space v. This is the command to create a virtual environment, and this is gonna be the name of the folder. So I'm just gonna use v and hit enter. So there's nothing happened because I already installed it before. Okay, in order to activate the v, we need to type v dash, it's slash script slash activate. I think it's scripts. Okay, so in order to activate the virtual environment, we need to run the script. So in this condition, if you are going to install the site packages, it will not affect the other project, so it's stay in this environment. By default, this IDE does not have Jupyter Lab by itself, so we need to install it also by typing pip. Well, I think it's not gonna work in my environment, so I need to type python-m pip install Jupyter Lab like this. Yep. Okay. And then we are going to type Jupyter Lab. Hit enter. Now the Jupyter Lab is open. We can go through the source code, and I'm gonna try my best to explain the important parts. And we see here, first I'm importing some modules that I'm gonna use it for this project. First, datetime. This is Python built-in function where I don't have to install it from the outsource. This function module is actually my homemade module that I created over here. So we can see these are helper functions that I created. Okay, and then Selenium. Okay, I think I forgot to tell you about importing the Selenium. Okay, the good thing, if you are using PyCharm, actually, we don't have to terminate this server, right? So let's go to PyCharm again. Okay, here. This is the Jupyter Lab server that is running currently. If we are forgot to install the library or module, we can just open another terminal by clicking this plus button like this. So mine is local number 2, and just type python-m pip install Selenium and beautiful Soup 4 like this. So after this process is finished, it will automatically link to our Jupyter Lab. So if this happened to your environment, it has red underline over here. After you install it, it will gone. The red underline is gone as long as you still activate the virtual environment, and it will automatically refresh the module for you. Okay, so using the WebDriver, I'm creating an instance for Chrome WebDriver, and with that instance I'm opening this website traveloka.com/id-id/hotel. So if we are running these cells soon, it will pop up Traveloka website like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna split the browsers into two parts, and we'll see every time we run each cells, we can see the changes over here. Okay, so I think my connection is very slow because it's still loading, and my previous cell is still processing. So it should be a number. If this process is finished, then the cell status should be changed. Okay, I think my connection took a while to complete this process, so okay, let's just continue. And now let's go through this search bar location, which is on the left browser. We can see it over here, the search bar of location. So if you run this, okay, it will activate the search bar location, and it will pop up a drop down list items that we can choose later. Okay, you can see here a Selenium WebDriver actually has this method called find element, and we can combine it with this by object. This find element first argument accept the way how we want to search the element. Is it either with by XPath, CSS selector, class, ID, and more. For this project, I'm gonna use by XPath. So this part is gonna find where this search bar location XPath is located. Clear bar is just to clear the input if there is one, so we just make sure to clear the search bar location over here. And then we sense key contains a string medan like this. So you see over here it is typed into the search bar. So to put it simply, send keys is just typing in manually our input, and the second typing is just clicking enter. So this keys.return mimics the behavior of typing or pressing the enter button in our keyboard and submit the result. And we see here automatically Traveloka, when we type in this value, they will give us this multiple item to choose. So I'm just gonna choose the first item here by running the cells. Okay, so the first item is chosen by running the cells. So if you're asking why did I find this XPath from each elements that I try to fill in, right? On Google Chrome, I installed a plugin called XPath Helper, so it will help us if we want to find XPath of any element in our web page. It's gonna give us the XPath. I'm gonna demonstrate it to you right now. So if I just copy this one to this, and we're gonna see how this XPath helper take actions. Okay, after I install this plugin, I just have to use a shortcut Ctrl+Shift+X, and it will show up like this. And to find the XPath of any element, we can press Shift and then hover to the location that we want to know where the XPath is located. For example, the search bar, we have this XPath, and we can just copy and paste it to our code and it will work. Okay, I'm just gonna close this. Okay, next is the check-in date bar over here. If you want to change the check-in date, we can run this 4 cells over here. But if you don't want to change the check-in date, we can just leave it. But I'm just gonna demonstrate it. First, I'm just gonna activate the check-in bar. It will pop up like this. And then I'm gonna input my check-in date. For example, I'm gonna check in on 2020, November of 11th. Hit enter. So this is the function, the helper function that I use to find the month index. So after we click this, after we click the check-in bar, it will appear a pop-up like this, contains of 2 months each phase. So let's say we want to check in on maybe January 2024, we have to click this button, right? So that's why we need to find the index of the month we're gonna check in using this formula. I think okay, this is define the month index of check-in date on the date picker. Okay, first we pass an argument to this function, and then we're gonna compare the date that from the check-in that we just passed. And first thing first, this method is gonna run this method which is located on the line 22. So why do we have to run this method? Because Traveloka only gives us 365 days ahead of a valid day for our check-in date. So you can see here our closest options of available date is 7th of November. We can choose the previous day, and the maximum, the farthest check-in that we can choose is 1 year ahead from now. See, it's 7th November. Now it's 7th November 2023, and the farthest check-in date is 7th November 2024. So this method is just to check whether our check-in date is in the range of that options, alright? If it's true, then we're just gonna go to the next method, which is div month over here. So the method over here is just to calculate from today's month to the check-in date's month we just input. And we can go back to the notebook. So since I chose to check in on 11th of November, the month index will be still in the first index of this date picker. So it's not started from 0 actually, it will start from 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Okay. After I run this, it will choose the right date based on my input, and okay, and well, so after this durations bar is activated, we can choose our desired durations of nights by running this cell. Mine is just 1, I'm going to choose 1 night. Okay, and we'll choose the first option. And okay, for this part, I'm gonna activate this bar, guest and room. Next cell is just decreasing the number of adults we see here. Okay, and then okay, for number of child and number of room, I haven't made any feature for this because at the moment I don't need any feature for this two, so we can just finish. And the search button is just gonna click this button, orange button over here, and after we click this, it will show us list of hotels. But before that, we have to solve the puzzle. Okay, so this is the puzzle that I mentioned before, and we just have to find the end path of the car. Okay, we can just click submit. Okay, that's correct. Okay, now the page is successfully loaded. We can see the list of the hotels, and now we're gonna take all of the hotel from the first page only, because we're just gonna take this based on the highest popularity over here, and I'm just gonna extract the very first page of this list. So I'm not gonna go over here, so I'm not gonna go to the second page, third page, and so on. I'm just gonna take all of the hotels from this first page. Okay, now here's the trick. At the very first part of this video, I mentioned that I want to take the data from today to the 30 days ahead, right? But I'm not gonna use this search bar for now. So if you can see over here, you see this is the URL that is automatically generated when we chose our very first parameter at the front page, right? So I'm gonna tell you that this one is our check-in date and this one is our checkout date, and at the end of the URL we can see this is our location, Medan, only for one room. This one is room and this one is how many person, but it's not included the child. Okay, so what I'm doing here is splitting the URL by its prefix, which is this part. I'm gonna take this part as the prefix, and the check-in date I'm just gonna add it up through a loop until 30 times. This one is also added up until 30 times, and from this part, from this dot to the end, is the postfix URL that I'm gonna attach together. Okay, so how do we get this URL? Actually, we can get it from this part, driver.current URL. If you want to see this in action, we can type this driver.current URL. So the result is same like this one. So we can playing with this URL with the date. This is what I'm doing. I'm separating the URL prefix, the URL postfix, the check-in date, and the checkout date based on the page URL, and then I'm gonna loop it until 30 times, and it will automatically calculate the date for me and concatenate all the strings, all the URL strings. And this print part over here is just to make sure that our check-in date is right. Okay, so this is where Beautiful Soup take in actions. After we load the page over here, we take all the driver page source over here and use the HTML parser and store it in a variable called soup. This part actually is extracting all of the hotel's name, like Arya Duta Medan, Cambridge Hotel Medan, Adi Mulia Hotel Medan, and so on. This process is extracting this part, and the reformat price is to change the format of this price, rupiah 751.8110, to become just 751.8110 without dot and without rupiah. Next, we're just gonna extract the ratings, this part, and the reviewers, the number of the reviewers on this part, and we store it in a list called hotel data, and then that's it. We just need to wait this to finish and we can store it in an Excel file. So finally, after everything is done, we can just close the driver. So let's see how it works. So first we need to import the Beautiful Soup, and then we can just delete this one by pressing D twice. and then we can just see it in action. Okay, so I think I forgot one part of this cell, that is time.slip. So after the driver get the page of the URL that I provided as on the loop, I pause the process for 4 seconds because on average the page that I loaded over here takes around 3 seconds. So I think it is safe for me to put it pause or put it slip for 4 seconds and then continue the process. So if we don't use this time.slip before the page is loaded, we will not get any data, and I think the program will crash because we are dealing with index over here. So if the index doesn't match, it will crash, like maybe index out of range error or something. So okay, let's see it in action. Okay, I think I'm gonna change this date into today's date, which is 7th November to 8. Check out date into 8 November and just reload this. Okay, so this page wants me to solve another puzzle. I think this is the right answer, I don't know. Okay, cool. Okay, why this doesn't load it properly? Okay, I think I made it. So yeah, let's try to reload this data again using this cell. Let's run this. Okay, I think the program is successfully finished its task. So you can see here we have all of the date from 7th to 6th December. Now we're gonna create names for each column, which is name for the first index and check-in date, price, rating, and the number of the reviewer. And after that we're gonna save it directly to our data folder with the name output3.xlsx. Okay, we're gonna test this one. I think so. I don't think I'm okay by previewing from this preview from pandas. I think I'm just gonna check it manually using Microsoft Excel. So let's go to my folder and check this output3.xlsx, and let's make tidy up this file. Just press Ctrl A, Alt H, and then OI. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna check 7, 1 by 1, 8. It's cool. 9, 10. Okay, I think I don't have the data from 11th November. Maybe it's because the page is loaded too long. Okay, maybe I'm just gonna try it one more time to take the data from 7th to 6th December, okay? I think I'm just gonna change this sleep time into 5 maybe, so I can get to make sure to get all of the data. Okay, let's just solve this puzzle, submit. Okay, I made the wrong answer. How about this? Okay, maybe this one. Okay, cool. Okay, let's run this again. Okay, now I've already checked all of the data and I made it to collect all of the data from 7th November to 6th December. And now let's use this data to make a time series graph in Tableau. Now it's the part to use Tableau to make a time series graph from our previous hotel data. So we can just click this one, make Microsoft Excel, because our file in Microsoft Excel. And okay, and just open my hotel data like this. Open. Okay, now we see these are the content of the file. This is the preview of our data, and we can go to this tab, sheet 1. Now we are going to make a time series data, which means we need a data which has a date type. So in our case, we expect that check-in date is our date type of data, but if you can see here, our check-in date is actually in text type. But don't worry, we can change it. Just click it and then we can click this date. Now Tableau will automatically change our check-in date data into date type. Now we can just drag this to our work field, this blank space. So I don't think I'm gonna put my check-in date into rows. I'm gonna put it in columns, and then the price into rows. I think I need to change this into day. Okay, so what if we want to see each hotel's price in this time series? Because right now we are seeing the sum of all the hotel price in the same date. So first, I think we need to change this sum and deactivate the aggregation of this graph. So first we need to go to analysis and then uncheck this aggregate measures. Okay, this is what it looks like when we deactivate the aggregate measures. And then if you want to see each hotel's price in this time series, we just need to drag this name into color and just add all members. There you go. Now we can see all of the hotel price in each own colors. So I think I'm just gonna change this color into, okay, I'm gonna change these markers into this type, so you can see all the dots that represent each day from 7th to 6th December. Okay, I'm gonna put right here, and because this is too many data, okay, just simply click right here. For example, if you want to see the price movement of Adimulia Hotel, and just press Ctrl to do a multiple selection. For example, I'm gonna see 4 Points and JW Marriott, I think. So by control clicking this name over here, we can ask Tableau to only show or maybe to highlight the selected data that we want to be highlighted. Now maybe I'm gonna explain a little bit about this green and blue color you see before. Okay, so in Tableau we have two types of data. Let's say the first one is measure and the second one is dimension. Dimension is represented by blue color and measure is represented by green color. So what is measure and dimensions? To put it simply, dimension is a categorical data. If we want to see time series for the check-in date, we cannot use categorical data for the check-in date. So that's why we need to use measure. To put it simply, measure is a numerical data, something that Tableau can measure, of course. So by changing to categorical data to measure or numerical data, we can see the time series takes into action like this. So yeah, that's it, I think. Thank you for watching this explanation video. If you have any question, you can drop a comment or maybe you can reach my LinkedIn profile. So see you next time.